Good afternoon, my name is Rudy, and today we are going to be discussing the Telegram group on how it basically works, how to go and analyze the shares basically from the Telegram group, and also what the screenshots mean. All right, so first things first, when you are part of the Telegram group, you will notice that you're receiving these notifications. So, for instance, one of these, which is the CFD Top 40 Index shares. So we select only from the Top 40 index for our CFD picks. Now, obviously, there is more than 40 shares on the JSE, but your top 40 shares would be your best shares to start off with, especially when you're trading CFDs. Okay. Um, so you'll also notice we don't only send you the screenshot, but we also send you a PDF document. So when you click on Open With, if you're doing it on a phone, you can also select your Adobe Acrobat. So you just click on the PDF documents and you can open it via Adobe Acrobat on your phone. If you don't have Adobe Acrobat on your phone, you should just download it. But most phones usually come with a PDF reader. So on PC, just click on Open With, click on Adobe Reader, and it will open in Adobe Reader. All right. So basically how it works is, first of all, it will have the ticker. All right. So the ticker would be the share code. And then also the last trading price. So that's what the last trade price was for this screenshot. And then I'll tell you where the 3-day RSI is currently sitting with, and also if the share is in a bull trend and what the position is. So for instance, this would be a possible buy. Next one will be a possible stay long. So that one basically changed from a buy to a stay long. So you should have bought the share already. PRX buy, this one stay short. So when it says stay short, you should have put in a sell position. Okay, when we told you that you could do a possible short, all right, or sell. Then next would be the resistance level, basically where the share is supposed to break out. So once it reaches that breakout level, that resistance level, that's basically when you're going to buy in. All right, potential upside, that's where the share can grow to. You'll also see that when it says stay short or sell, that your values would be on the right hand side and not on the left hand side. So support level, basically where the share is supposed to break out in a downward trend. So we'll see that AGL, for instance, on 82.44, that's the last trading price, it already broke through the support level. So it's going downwards direction. The potential downside is 523. So it means that the share needs to fall all the way down to 523 before you sell out, and the percentage gain, right, which the share can grow to. If you look at BHG, for instance, at the top here, BHG percentage gain would be 13%, so you can expect 13% profit if you buy it in on that level. Then also we'll give you on the right hand side, we'll give you your stop loss. So your stop loss, where you should set in your stop loss value. Now, usually if you're trading through IG or through Nedbank or through Standard Bank, they will either ask you for a percentage value or a rand value. All right, so obviously you're just going to use the rand value instead of putting a percentage in. All right, so for AGL, we put in 588 as our stop loss. And then for instance, BHG, we put in 527 for your stop loss. You're just going to use those stop loss values for your stop losses. All right. Then also, we'll give you your weekly RSI and daily RSI. If we say that your weekly RSI is good, means that your it means that it's more of a long-term trade. If you have a crossing and daily RSI, it's not a short-term trade. It's more of a long-term. If you've got both thumbs up on weekly and daily RSI, it means that you can either go along with it or hold on to it for a short position. Okay. Then underneath the suggestion, you've got your trade idea, so possible buy above 543.40. That's on BHG with your stop loss value. So basically, we take everything which is in the columns and we sum it up. So we'll tell you that you can buy it on that position, set your stop loss on that value, and then take profit on whatever value we get. In this case, take profit on 513.52. All right, with a note. Okay, so this note, for instance, says 3-day RSI, just entered overbought territory, enter position with a little caution. All right, so if we give you notes like this, it would be wise to follow exactly what the note says. because we've already done most of our analysis on the share, especially when we mention something like the RSI. So it's not only on your potential upside, potential downside, or your support and your resistance levels. It's also about what the RSI is doing. All right, so there's a lot of technical analysis that already went into a share before we put it onto this list. Okay, and as I said, keep in mind that it's only on the top 40 index. So you'll obviously, as I said, receive a screenshot like that, okay, and the PDF document. But not only do we send you that, we also send you the charting for those shares. All right, so what we do is we go and pull it in. So we take ABG, for instance. All right, we say there's your possible buy. All right, so this share, for instance, ABG has not yet reached that level according to the screenshot, right? So this is Thursday, obviously on Thursday. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we send out the screenshots for it. Usually on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays would only be updates on what's currently happening. So we'll say possible buy in there, all right, on that line. So once it breaches that line, right, that's obviously your resistance. So once it breaches that your resistance line in the upward direction, you could take profit on 211 Rand. So once it reaches that level, you would sell out. We look at the next one. So this one would obviously be a short. So your stop loss is this. In this case, your stop loss would be exactly the same as your selling level. All right. So then once it let's say bounces on that line and comes down, you would basically go sell your share once it or close your position once it reaches your take profit. Okay, let's take another one. So here's another short position. So obviously over here, possible sell. So there would have been your sell position. Stop loss we adjust. So you'll also see that we go and adjust our stop loss values. That you'll also see on the PDF document. So if we quickly go back to the PDF documents, you'll see that we revise our stop losses. Okay, so always go back and revise the stop loss so that you can also go and maybe just adjust your stop loss. If it was a trailing stop loss, you don't need to adjust your stop loss, because your trailing stop loss will obviously go and adjust itself. You don't need to do it, but if you're using a normal stop loss, you just need to go and revise it yourself. All right, it's on either Standard Bank or IG or Nedbank, depending on where you trade. Then also on top of that, we also send you some news. So if we go up, you'll see that we also send you some news bulletins, which are really important to go through. For instance, over here we mentioned Tsongela. Over here we mentioned Ascendus. And if we go up a little bit more, there was a bit more. Okay, mine is not going up all the way, but you get the idea. So we send you more news on shares. All right, and sometimes these shares will be shares that we also send on the charting. All right, now if you want to buy a share from this list, obviously you still need to go and do stuff like look at your RSI, look at your stochastic, do your technical analysis. Don't just buy it because we say buy. Also do some of your own homework instead of just buying from it. But obviously once it reaches a certain level, you would want to go and get into it as soon as possible. So I'm going to quickly close off this PDF document and open up the one for last week, because I want us to work with IMP. So it's not that one, it would be the previous one. So I'm just going to open that, open with Adobe. I'm just going to open. Usually, because I've got a bigger screen, I would just zoom in a bit. So to 25%, okay. And then I'm going to use INP as a good example. All right, so INP, all right, so this one says bull trend. So the overall trend is bullish trend, but it says stay short. Okay, that basically was the price at that stage. Okay, so if I go back to and I go to the charting for that week, that would be the ones down here. Right, go down here and we look for INP. So there's INP. All right. So possible sell short on 104 Rand and 60 cents with our stop loss on 102 and 10 cents. Take profit down there on 92. Okay. So I'm going to buy the share as if I bought it on that day. So you can see basically what the potential profit was if we bought it on that price. Okay. So we're going to go back to the ShareTrackin software. Going to go to Encompass software. go to search at the top left-hand corner. Okay, you can also use your filters. You can see what your filters have done. So we can go to analysis, go to your stocks, go to additional advisors, add something like a long so it pulls in all your shares, and then you enter your code, for instance, INP. Sorry, just reset filters here, INP, and then you can see what it tells you. If for long term, obviously it would be a buy. All right, so you can still go and add stuff like, for instance, your RSI and see what your RSI says about it. All right, it says hold. All right, because it's more of long term. Okay, so you can still use your filters to see what the filters says, but obviously we did a little bit more of technical analysis on the advisor. Okay, so when we go back, go to search into your code INP, click on your share, which it threw out for you, and then go to Chart IQ. Right, to your charting obviously, and see where it's currently heading to. We can see that the RSI is a bit overbought. It is heading in a downward direction, and also the share is still in a negative, so it means that the share is still going down. All right, so we're going to go and say buy shares. Okay, and then we're going to select our CFD account, because obviously those are for CFDs. Select your CFD simulation account, and then you're going to enter your number of shares to trade. Okay, so in this case, we're going to take 100 shares, all right, just for the webinar purposes. So 100 shares, which is going to cost us 1,989 Rand and 60 cents, which will give us then an exposure of 9,948 Rand. Okay, now obviously we're going to leave our margin on 5%. If you are trading through Standard Bank, you're more than welcome to come and change the leverage to whatever Standard Bank gives you on those shares. So when you pull up a quote on a share, they will give you the leverage or the gearing. They call it gearing, and that would automatically adjust your percentage. Okay, so we are only paying 20% of the current price. We're not paying full price. Okay, so the price currently says 98 Rand and 98 cents. But as I said, we're going to change the price over there for the webinar purpose. So we saw that it's 104 Rand and 60 cents. Okay, so it's going to obviously change my required margin a little bit. So I'm going to need a little bit more. So now my exposure also changed to 10,510. So for 2,000 Rand, I'm getting 10,000 Rands exposure. Okay, still you need to enter your comments, so still stick with the T's and C's. You need to go into your comments, either two technical or two fundamental reasons. So one reason obviously would have been that you selected the share from the ShareTrackin Telegram group, and then also you would enter stuff like your RSI is giving you a selling indication, and also your moving averages are also pointing in a down direction. So stuff like that, you still need to enter decent comments why you're buying the share. For webinar purposes, I'm going to enter our comment just as test, and then I can either go and click on open long or open short, depending on what we told you to do. Okay, so INP obviously was a short. So if we look at this over here, INP stay short. Okay, but a week back it was a sell. All right, so it means that I would have put in a short. I'll go back to the software and click on open short position. All right, and then it'll open that position for me when I go to dashboard and then trader dashboard. All right, so we can see that if we bought the share, right, on the day that we told you to go and short, you would have made, that was basically on the 31st. All right, so on the 31st, we told you that you can short. Okay, you would have made 512 Rand. Okay, from when we told you to buy. If we go and look at the charting, so if we go back, go look at INP, there, from 104 Rand up until where the price is currently, you would have made 512 Rand. Obviously, the share still needs to go down. And if we look at the current charting, it looks like that the share still needs to go down. All right, the price is still negative. Okay, so the share needs to fall all the way down to 92 Rand before we sell out. Okay, that means that is the support, or the new support level where it needs to fall to. So previous resistance, if I take a horizontal line and I pull it in there, that would basically be my sellout point. So once it goes down even more, I would sell out there. Okay, obviously, as I said, you need to set up your stop losses. So see to it that you've also set up your stop losses when you purchase the share. All right, so that if the share does not reach that point, then it sells it out. If you're using IG, you can also you can do two things. You can set up your stop loss, number one, all right, and you can set up your limits. So that would be your limit. So you set up your limit on that price where that we gave you, that it also auto sells on that price. Standard Bank obviously doesn't have the limit order, right? So you're just going to set up your stop loss, okay, and keep an eye on it up until when it reaches that point. Okay, and then sell out the share once it reaches that point. One thing that I would also recommend is that we did put in 2 new videos on the ShareTrackin software. And the training index, if you go to the training index, we did put up 2 new videos. So if you scroll down to the bottom, how to join a Telegram group. So for those that are not part of the Telegram group yet, there is an explanation on how to do that. If you still struggle after that, you're more than welcome to go to contact us and contact any one of the 3 support numbers. They'll also show you how to go and join the Telegram group or just add you onto the Telegram group. But on that video, I'll also show you how to go and download and install it onto your phone. Okay. And then also the other video is what is CFDs. So really important, go watch the video. What is CFDs? If you're still struggling on how to understand what CFDs is, it's really important to go and watch the video. So we explain margins and leverages and brokerages, and also how it works when you make profits, and also how it will work if you lose money. So that is around about half an hour or 27 minutes. So once you've watched that, you'd have more of a broader idea on how CFDs work. Okay, so really important to go and watch that one. And also, if you're not part of the Telegram group, go and watch how to join the Telegram group. Okay, but yeah, the Telegram group is really easy to understand. Once you get the hang of where to buy your share, where to go and sell your share, and where to go and set up your stop loss values. And then just going over to the software and buying your shares. Also, what we also do on the group is just quickly switch over to my other profile. If you scroll up, I think on this profile I have a little bit more information. Yes, so if I scroll up, you'll see that there is a bit more stuff that we also post here. There's a bit more news, but for instance, we will post stuff like this. All right, some webinars. So for instance, gold and banking shares. So the same emails that you basically get for webinars, we also post here. Okay, so and you just click on the link, register for the webinar, and join the webinar at that specific time. Okay, so we'll always post news, the updates for the CFDs to keep you up to date on what's happening with the top 40 index. Sometimes the list will be longer, sometimes the list will be shorter, depending on what's happening on the JSE. If you see a share all of a sudden that it's not here, it means that the share has, for instance, stopped out. So we'll even tell you that a share has stopped out, okay, and then remove it from the list once it's stopped out. All right, stopped out basically means that it's reached the stop loss. Okay, then you should go and sell the share because it's reached your stop loss. Okay, but as I said, if there's any other questions regarding the ShareTrackin Telegram group, and if you want to join the Telegram group, you're more than welcome to contact us, and we will be able to assist you in joining the group. Okay, so I hope you have a wonderful weekend further, and I hope to see you for the next one.